Hello, everybody. So, I would remind you that I'm the project coordinator of NGO Permaculture in Ukraine. I'm not a farmer, but I'm going to tell you about the big farm in Ukraine, rehabilitational farm. So, I am ambassador of them. But from the very beginning, I would like to start with a bit another video. At the very first day, somebody asked me if the war really affected our lives. Is it really affected our everyday routine life? So I would like to show you this. And I'm sorry that I force you to see this video, but yesterday we had such a beautiful concert and we all went home sleep, but at the same night Russia sent 300 drones around Ukraine and many other missiles. And this morning in Ukraine, more than 6 people were died. 1 6-year-old boy was died, and 10 children more were injured. And I'm telling you this because it was so many topics during this conference about youth desert in Europe, and this is how it's happening in Ukraine right now. And yes, the war is influence our lives because this is Kiev and this is place where I am spending the half of the month right now, and this is place when part of our team lives, and every moment, every day we can be at that place. Fortunately for us, right now we are here. But some people can't live it like this, and this is what this wonderful family is doing. So this is the family that lived in Czech Republic for some years. They have business there, but in 2014 they realized that they can be abroad when Russia attacked Ukraine. They returned home. They went for a war. And after 1 year spending there, they returned, and they were so affected by what they saw in the front line that they couldn't spend any more time in the cities. They saw that it is so much fear around, that people continue to live their life. It is fireworks, it is music, restaurants, and they were not satisfied with them. So they bought some land. They have just 5,000 euros, and they decided to buy a land in Dnipro region near to Jane's brother. Her brother right now is a soldier on the front line. They got this land. It was unknown village in Dnipro region. It was a huge garbage dam, yeah. And they decided what we can do here. We have to take everything out. And as soon as Jane have found this bottle, she understand that she would like to sort everything. And in few months, they took 40 trucks with different garbage from that place. But while they sorting all the stuff, they could find so many wonderful, beautiful artifacts from previous times that they create a museum of it. They even have money from first Ukrainian Republic in 1919, and they say that in Ukrainian museums they have copy and they have original coins from this place. And Jane is telling me that she definitely knows how to solve these problems of unofficial this garbage garbage places and villages, we just have to make museums from that places, because they really can consist a lot of very interesting and unusual things. Then they start to look around. They have found a beautiful river near the farm. They start to build their house at that place. But also they have found that not far from their place, this career, the same word, career. So it was a granite mine, but it is former. So right now a lot of water in there, and it is a lot of blue clay kaolin. So the water is completely blue. The photo is not showing you the color. It's really like a sky. And as soon as you go into the water and you go around, your skin just shining like a sun. They decided to do something with that. Then they continue to walk around and have found this place, and it was a lot of Chinese people there, and they were standing like, hey, why are you here? And those Chinese people say that this is the oldest European volcano that is not working for many years, but the age of this volcano is 3.2 billion years. And they make a touristic place from this site. They contacted university that has geological department in Dnipro region, and the professor decided, yes, that's so cool that you are here. Let's do something. So they are making touristic marathons, a lot of routes for many places. And why I'm telling you this? Very often people who return from the war, they saw places around themselves. I think there is nothing beautiful around. And when we inviting them to such places for like they farm, for example, one permaculture center, they say, okay, it is very beautiful here in this place, but what is around? And Jane is telling that our main aim is to show those veterans and all other people that it is not only our places is beautiful, that if you make this step out of your fence, you will find a lot of amazing places that will show you the beauty of your village, of your region, of your country. And this is our purpose, to find these places and to include them into your farm, into your place that you develop in. So, 2022, this is me with this beautiful Bambi. It was a year when this farm decided to open the gates, but unfortunately it wasn't as they planned. So, the spring of this year, this is Anatoly, and he is dealing with consequences of Kakhovka Dam was blowing, as you know, and it was a huge flood, and that region, they just jump into the car and went there and rescue some animals. In the very first months, they start to got these trucks with animals from different places. Why? Because their farm is on the many roads, and some veterans, some people who wanted to join army, they just saw their farms and say, can I leave you my cow, or can I left my goats here because I'm going to the war? And they couldn't say no. So that is how in a few months their farm grew from 300 different types of animals to 1,000. This is, oh my God, donkey, yeah? This is donkey called Mamula, it's like mommy. And the story of this animal is that she was blow up, взорвалась, подорвалась на мине, explode on mine, and her little donkey was died, unfortunately, and she had amputation. And this is the first story from them how the whole world helped them to make this protest for the animal. So Australian people and American people helped them collect money and find this protest. So Jane said that the value of the donkey in Ukraine is 10,000 hryvnias, but the value of life of this donkey is more than 20,000 euros already. And each day they have to make this medicinal stuff with that land that this animal could be happy. And the most interesting that this animal is really happy at that farm. And the farmer, the veterans who come and visit in that farm, they really like her. They come to her, talk to her, and she's doing the same thing. And they say that she is the same as we are, because a lot of them have no arms or legs, and this animal is the same. And they feel them, each other, and they can help each other because they are the same. So previous year, this farm decided to make non-government organizations, so they call themselves Rehabilitational Center, and it didn't said on very beginning, but on the very beginning, they wanted to be the first carbon farm in Ukraine, and they created the space to be a carbon farm. So here is some things. I am not going to read them. You can read by your eyes. But what is the main is the help. The main goal is to help people and to help animals. And they say that we are helping animals that later will help people on that farm. I will show you some videos. I just really would like you to see these faces and to feel the energy of this place. We are not going to see all 4 minutes, but at least a few of them. It is English subtitles.
Я вам скажу так, Хаймерс – це як такий великий пароплав. Він так кричить гучно, що просто він будить, не те, що все село, а навіть його чують на тому березі, що Хаймерс кричить.
Важко повірити, що цей мальовничий куточок недалеко від Дніпра колись був стихійним смітником, а став місцем сили людей та порятунку тварин завдяки сміливому подружжю Анатолію та Євгенії.
Ми кажемо, не ми місце обрали, воно нас обрало. Google про це навіть мовчав і не казав, що це за місце. Отак і ми. Ми коли приїхали сюди, ми спочатку думали від людей втекти.
І саме там вони почали створювати свою маленьку Україну в Україні, яку намріяли разом – будинок з фермою та сироварнею.
14-15 рік, початок війни. Я був в Дукі в Добровольському українському корпусі. Змінювати щось вверху, вгорі, треба спочатку змінити тут в собі щось. Тому ми вирішили показати приклад. Там, де не крадуть, там, де гроші, які заробили, вкладають саме в землю, в українську землю.
Та повномасштабна війна змінила все. Крім свого господарства, вже майже 3 роки, як ферма рятує інших тварин.
Тут ціла географія України. Тут Херсон, Бахмут, Покровськ, тут Авдіївка. Ми з початку повномасштабного вторгнення почали приймати тварин для їх же реабілітації і потім передавали їх далі або їх господарям, або вони залишалися у нас після якихось мінно-вибухових травм. Мамуля Віслючка, яка була врятована підрозділом, їй міною протипіхотною кінцівку ампутувало, то ми тут її доліковували вже і в Австралії робили їй протез.
Вона абсолютно повноцінно себе почуває. Вона хоче, вона з конями йде на той берег.
Було 2 віслючки, які ми спасли від м'яса. Це Дашка і Машка.
Ну і, звісно, зірка віслючого представництва ферми, відомий на всю Україну Хаймерс.
служив в ЗСУ. Він, до речі, це історичний факт. Він був демобілізований, він штатний, отримував навіть зарплатню.
So now you can imagine this place, and I can continue with some information. So this is mainly the regions from which people come to that farm. So of course the Dnipro region has the most охоплення. The biggest people is from Dnipro region, but some other region also would like to attend this farm and to feel themselves part of it. The biggest part it is internally displaced people that need some support and rehabilitation. They have almost more than 20% of veterans who visited the farms. And this is definitely because Anatoly has this experience. That is why it's easy for him to find the common language with those people. People with disabilities, sometimes it is really people with very heavy situation and physical state, but they found the way how to deal with them as well. And yes, they added this information that they have found that even to person it is LGBT society, and they were very proud that there were no conflicts during all this time with all this mix of categories of people. And the same information for animals. So some of them is returned to wild. Why? Because many animals that come to that farms, soldiers bring them. For example, they return from place to place. They see that some animal are injured. They took this animal to the farm. Jane and Anatoly healing them, treating them, working with doctors, and then offering this opportunity. Some of the animals don't want to go. For example, that Bambi that I was sitting with, it was also brought like injured small animal. He was really little one. And he just decided to stay with them, and he sleep on them. They, oh my God, coach in the house. So he has every evening he has his dinner inside the house with the whole family. So it is like Bambi pet, and he is really very cute and like to be touched. So some of them forwarded to other centers. So they try to deal with this amount of animals because, of course, foxes can't live together with rabbits. Yeah, they also have them. So in general, animal therapy. Again, I'm not going to read what is on the slide, but you can see that 90 of the animals were evacuated from the war zone. Some of them were served in the army, and that created this special atmosphere. What kind of animals? Of course, I will talk later a bit about horses, but even cats that live on the farm, they really help veterans. For example, there is a beautiful video when veterans are going with these sticks and kittens are playing with them and try to climb. And veterans really enjoy this process, so they provoke them a little and they really play. So even kitten might be helpful with such. They have 4 dogs. Each dog has its own story. Sometimes their names related to war. For example, it was with donkey, Heimers. You know Heimers, what is? And this last dog, it called here the Dashka, but it is Desheka. It's also type of weapon. And this dog, this Dashka, she come to the farm because she saved 10 soldiers. She called them out of the окоп, блиндаж. So it was, you know, in the ground, this place where soldiers are sitting. So from the trench, and she was very active. She started to call them outside. They all went outside, and the missile hit the place. So she saved 10 lives, and soldiers bring her here that she could live in better conditions, because she also was fired. Injured with fire. Another. Sunny is evacuated from Donetsk region dock, this Luna. The owner brought her to the farm but never returned, so who knows, but she stayed here. And Ikigai has his own story. This is the dog that has certificate for the best appearance in Europe, and also he has a certificate for the rescue on the water. But now he is here, and it was a beautiful story how the woman came to the farm. She didn't talk to anyone. She just bought the ticket and went somewhere. And the dog decided to go with her. They returned together after 4 hours. Nobody saw them. They just walking somewhere. And when she returned, she came to Jane and Anatoly and said that I returning you the dog. He is absolutely amazing. He spent the whole time with me. And then she started crying and talking. And they found out that her son is missing. And this is the most terrible situation. When someone dies, you know that the person died. When someone took by Russian, you know that he is took and somewhere in the prison, taken in somewhere in the prison. But when somebody is missing, it's terrible. And she couldn't talk about this for years. And just after this trip with the dog, she returned and she started talking and she started crying. And then they find out that Anatoly probably know her son, and they continue to not to search. They continue to be in touch, and now she is visiting the farm often, and at least she can talk. Finally, they have horses, and horses is very interesting because, for example, I thought that each horse might help people, but it's absolutely not true. And those horses that was bring to the farm on the very beginning, they had the special training. Thank you. And just 2 horses from 10 that were able to work with veterans. And that's really amazing because horses have some special temperature of body that help people to relax. And this is how happy veteran might look like. So when they come, when they visit in farm, they are really happy that they can have their own horse, be on it and ride somewhere. So, unfortunately, also not all people with disabilities can be on the horses. And for example, if somebody has, we call it, I don't know the international language, but high amputation, like very high, or a few amputation, they ask for some note from doctor that this person might be use this horse therapy. If no, then they searching for other ways. Something else probably. Okay, to be honest, I don't remember what this video is, but
Не води з тими псевдобогами коршунами. Вони трава, як доля, просто бути скошеними. І справжня цінність не вимірюється грошами. Вони для тебе, не ти для них. Ай-яй-є, мила розбуди мене, поки я є. Над полем задимленим сонце стає. Знов сила невидима підіймає. Мила розбуди мене, поки я є. Мила розбуди мене, поки я є. Над полем задимленим сонце стає. Знов сила невидима підіймає. Мила розбуди мене, поки я є.
Right now, this farm is working with center Superhuman Center. It is the biggest center for rehabilitation for injured veterans. So, garden therapy. It's also very important, and you probably know them. As Jane said, that they have no raised beds, at least for now, but even without it is possible to work with people. And they planted lavender field together with veterans. They planted some pines and some fruit trees and apple gardens. And she said that many of the people who was engaged in this, they start to return to the farm more often just to check their trees. They remember what exactly where they planted, and they check, this is my tree and it is still growing. And these injured people with protheses, they also would like to be engaged. And it was a situation when some guy without arm, with prothese on arms, he wanted to dig and he couldn't. And he had found another guy who was without leg, and they somehow start to dig together. They become, it was the start of a big friendship. Right now, these two guys, they bought Metaloshukaч, metal searcher, and knowing of this background of this place, they're searching for artifacts around. And another friendship turned into experimenting and testing the terrestrial drones that can help to rescue people from the front light. So sometimes it is very funny situation on the farm when Jane returned from the city, and it is these drones is walking and driving around the farms. So garden therapy is really helping not only to restore your mental health, but start some friendship in completely new conditions with such people as you. This is not part of this farm, but we wanted just to present that these people with disabilities, they need really special things in almost everything. They can't eat by themselves, and this is Ukrainian artists who make a design of these plates, and it's much easier to eat with one arm if you have this interruptions on the plate. So they really would like to make it in many ways. One more. It's very interesting situation right now. Like usually as we also non-government organization, and we also would like to provide some opportunities to veterans, to family of veterans, to some people with disabilities. And usually we're searching for grants. So we're offering kind of free opportunities. But in truth, each person to whom we offering something needs at least 7 times more money than usual visitor. For example, it is according to the rules of this medical stuff. Some children, for example, with disabilities, they can go to the toilet by themselves. And if you want to be a farmer who offers such therapy, you have to have such people in your team that will be ready to go to the toilet, to help them, to go out, to help if person is not really feel good, and other stuff. And of course, not everybody ready to do this. So you have to think ahead about such things. And also one number. When Jane wanted to hire one veteran with disability, she counted that she needs at least 1,300,000 hryvnias to make just one toilet and to make appropriate path. And this is farm that from the very beginning was made infrastructure very friendly to such people. And this is money that you will never find. There is no grants for such. The government offered much more smaller sum for such infrastructure changing. So it's only your own money, it's only your own dedication that can drive such project, unfortunately. If you know, if you will find something that can help with such things, please let me know. Also, they are not doing the therapy stuff, and they always say that in Ukraine there is three main problems: war, electricity, access, and climate changes. So they are doing a lot of other things. For example, sorry, my news channels. They start to sort garbage. They also start to create lagune. These places where the manure is collected in the right way without any difficulties. They made rainwater harvesting, and they always try to implement and offer in some different projects. For example, this photo is Ukrainian rehabilitational center of bats. You can see some of them here. It's located in Kharkiv. So they invited hundreds of people to rescue, to let bats wild. And the lower picture is this winter. They say that, hey guys, the new year is over. Probably there is a lot of Christmas tree in your flats. If you don't need them, please send it to us. So people from the whole Ukraine start to send Christmas tree to them, to feed animals, to use it in other ways, and that's amazing. So we really would like somehow to implement that in many other places. Yeah, I was told already, about infrastructure, so this is also some part of them, this stuff helping those veterans to sit on the horses. The problems with electricity force Jane and Anatoly try to search for alternative way, and to be honest, that is why they are not here, because they are really dealing with this problem right now, and they are switching to solar panels. So they really saying that everybody should be really electricity independently. This is the first that you have to think about. They also invited many different organizations, and women run, and also this grant couldn't be if they not put into that rehabilitation for their own team. And they say that we help people so much during these years, and we always forgot about themselves. So they needed some therapy for themselves. They made it. They were very happy, and now they recommend it all NGOs think about themselves and make some very beautiful and healthy things for the partners, for the team members. They also invited other NGO to make courses on their location. For example, this is first aid help course, and it also might cost a lot of things, but it's needed right now because if you remember the first video of my presentation, you might need it every minute, so who knows. Yeah, of course they have some problems. They try to solve them, create biodiversity. They already try to implement all these European Union rules that you have and they farms, and this is something that I like very much because they right now are an example for all other farms in Ukraine, that it is not from nowhere, and all these rules about biodiversity, manure, keeping, it has meaning, and if you implement them, you are doing good for yourself. Not everything was so beautiful, and in September of 22 they got missile on their territories, and this is very special story because that was the day when I had to send to report to one donor, because we just finished the project, and that project contained this new fences for new coming animals and food for the whole winter. So they bought everything, they start to build everything, and then this missile fell down, and it was a huge fire. And Jane called me early morning, and she was crying, and she was telling that it is missile, it is a huge fire, everything is on fire, and a lot of rescue team around. And then she said, "Irina, everyone is alive. Everyone is alive." It was so close to our home, but just because the missile wasn't explode, everybody is. If it not happened, who knows? Later on, 3 cows will die because of the fear, not because of the, like, it is a direct relationship, but later. We didn't know what to do, but people already know so much about this farm. So when Jane make a post that this is the situation, all our food burned, and this has happened, people could collect 3 times much money that we lost in this project. So they could have alternatives. Also, Jane said that when they started, they didn't think that they develop community, but each project that was implemented on the farm, each project that engaged people, created community, and this community is growing every month. And people is the most important in all this, in the world. Because of their very active position, they become the part of the list of 5 the biggest heuristic villages in Ukraine. So they took the first place, and they were very happy of this because all others are from western part. That is quite of understandable. It is more safe region, and only they from eastern part of Ukraine are in the list because of their activities. And very soon you will be able to see the documentary film about them. It is the last preparation for presentation of this film worldwide, but there is some first. minutes.
Дивися, малі вони б'ються. А, воно косорили, воно.
Малий стрибає. Планувала просто купити дачу. Знаєте, як мріяла. Мати гарний краєвид, пити смачну каву. Про фермерство точно не було думок.
У нас була можливість жити будь-де. Але коли ми приїхали на це місце, то зразу ми вирішили, що це місце наше і ми повинні тут бути.
Толя каже, хочеш корову? Вона ж їсть траву, дає молоко. Але не все. Буває за планом.
We wake up this morning to a war in Europe.
Russia has invaded Ukraine.
Пролунав гучний вибух. Воно впав! Це була збита ракета типу «Калібр». Все горіло. Якщо вибухнула б ця ракета, то тут би вибуховою хвилею і осколками посікло все. Коли ми підійшли до неї і підняли сам цей детонатор, він почав працювати. І так тик-тик-тик-тик-тик-тик. Хоча ми знали, що там немає вже вибухівки, що вона не вибух. Ми побігли і попадали тут за греблю, поховалися від цієї ракети.
Військові друзі, які були в Донецький напрямок, Луганський, почали передавати нам тварин.
Наша ферма почалася ось з цих баранів.
Приїжджає вантажівка, відкриваються задні двері, і там їх стільки було. Вагітні, цапи, кози, козенята. Потім поні, віслючки.
Дашка, Машка і Ячка.
Паралельно собаки, коти.
Гайленд, в'єтнамці, це міні-піги, яких вивезли з Херсону. Старалася Ема.
Ми розуміли, що це другий фронт.
Для того, щоб вивезти коня, потрібна броньована машина, яка зараз там курсує. Хтось рятує людей, хтось рятує кобилу. А взагалі-то справа одна – рятуємо.
So we are closer to the end. Some good news. Jane just gave birth to her third child, and it is the third girl. So the life is continued. And I'm really proud that I know those people and that they are part of our network. And that morning Jane was crying not because of the missile was fall down on the farm, but because everybody was alive. And that is what they are doing. They decided to be here and to help just to make Ukraine better and to make people better around them. And I really would like that everybody has such experience and you could come to this place after the war ends. Thank you.